Well, good afternoon, everybody, and it's now the end of week 9 of our school lockdown, and it's really quite a poignant week this week because next week we will welcome some of our students back, and I'll come back to that in a moment. And it's the end of a particular time in some of your lives because it was Year 11's last week of exams this week. Hope you've had a really good week so far and have been working really hard and engaging with all the work that you've been set, doing everything that your teachers have asked you to do. And it's been really, really good to see all of those house points and commendations coming in across all the year groups for everything that you've achieved. So well done. Hope you've had a really, really successful week. Had some amazing things on our passion projects again, as you have done every week. You never cease to amaze us with your skills and talents in Year 7. Amazing passion projects around growing plants. That's also happening in Year 9. I have to give a shout out to Sophie's lockdown vegetable patch. And it's really interesting because some of you who have used growing vegetables and plants as one of your passion projects, they're now coming to fruition after 9, 10, 11 weeks of being in lockdown. All of these seeds that you planted a few weeks ago are now starting to grow and are really healthy. So it's a real indicator, unfortunately, of how long we've been in lockdown, but also of the progress that you've made with those projects. So really fantastic to see those. So well done. In Year 8, seen some amazing contributions to the photography challenge. Princess Kate Middleton set a photography challenge a few weeks ago called the Hold Still Challenge, and there's been some amazing entries from our Year 8s for that, so well done. Year 10, I've had a really good week, and I've been communicating with their parents about return to work and return to school for them next week. So all of Year 10 are going to have a day in school next week, studying their core subjects and catching up with some of their teachers, which I'm sure they're really looking forward to. We're really, really looking forward to seeing them back in school. And welcoming them back to a bit of face-to-face learning, and hopefully that will develop over the next few weeks. Year 11, today was going to be your final GCSE exam for the whole cohort. So today would have been physics. It would have been the last exam. It would have been a joyous moment for you all, finishing that final GCSE. The only thing that would have happened next week was the additional maths, but for the whole cohort, it was going to be your last exam today. So a really poignant moment, really sad that we haven't been able to have you in doing your exams. You will have very mixed feelings about that, but a real poignant moment for all of you. Year 12, you have continued to work so hard. Been so impressed with Year 12 about how hard you've worked and all the things that you've been doing. And you've got your assessment week coming up. It'll be a really good indicator of the progress that you've made. You'll go into the summer holidays having an update on your progress. And while it's a little bit daunting, it'll be a really worthwhile thing to do. So dig in there and prepare well for your exams. And I'm sure you will do very, very well. Your teachers will help you to prepare as well as they possibly can. Some other things going on, quite poignant actually, that I'm speaking to you this afternoon from St Cecilia's, which I'm sure you're missing being in. This is one of the places where we have our musical performances, and Mrs Sprague has launched this week via the bulletins. I'm sure you've seen it on Teams, the opportunity to join the school choir, and I think they met for the first time at lunchtime today, but it's still not too late. If you want to do that, email Mrs Sprague and you can join that virtual school choir. Really excited to see some of those things happening. Something else that's been happening musically is a continued contribution by the sixth form Enrichment choir and music band, which is Ben, Luke and Marisha sorry, I'm being interrupted now by the dog, who's just come to say hello. Sorry about that. I'll tell you a little bit about that in a moment, about why he happens to be here. But yes, Ben, Luke, Marisha in Year 12, thank you for your contributions to music enrichment, and those are all available on the school website. So if you want to look at any of the enrichment opportunities that have taken place and all the news to do with the bulletins, then look on the school website, because all the bulletins do go there. So if there's anything that you think another year group has been doing that you'd like to look at, then please go ahead and do that and have a look on the school website. A couple of things that came out of the year group bulletins that I just wanted to highlight this afternoon. Firstly is an opportunity which a couple of the heads of year, I think Miss Rana's talked about, and Miss McAvoy in Year 12, is about writing a letter to your future self. And there's a website that you can do that at called futureme.org. And you can write a letter to your future self, what it's been like at the moment, at this particularly poignant time, this unique moment in history. And they will email it back to you or send it back to you in 1, 3 or 5 years' time. So you can email or write a letter to yourself as if you were writing in the future to them, and you'll get it back. So it'd be a really interesting thing to do. So I urge you to do that as one of your extracurricular activities. And the other thing I think it's worth continuing to think about, and I touched on it briefly last week, was the protests that have come out of America and across the world that we talked about last week, about following the murder of George Floyd in America, and the protests that have come out about that. Mr. Blount showed a really pertinent photo in his bulletin this week, and I'm just going to try and show you a picture of that. So this is an image which was shown in the bulletin this week. So you've got pictures of protesters in colour there from the current protests, and on the other side you've got protesters doing exactly the same thing, but that was from 80 years ago. So exactly the same protests were being made about the treatment of black and ethnic minorities all over the world, but particularly in America at that time, about their treatment. And it's a bit of a blight on society that not enough of those things have changed. So as you read about those things and see them on the news, you may think to yourself, what can you do? My best suggestion that you can do is educate yourself. And you can do that, for starters, by looking on your year group bulletins, because your heads of year have been brilliant at putting lots of links, reading pointers on the bulletin to point in the direction where you can get more information and gather your thoughts about what's been going on and form an opinion. It's better to have an opinion and be educated about it than just go on in ignorance, hoping that someone else is going to sort those issues out. It's your generations of the future, and you are part of that, will need to lead the way. So I think that's a really good thing that you can do. If you do nothing else, I want you to educate yourself about it. So that's the end of the video for this week. Hope you have a really, really good weekend. Look after yourselves. Hopefully you'll continue to look after your parents at home and your siblings, and are being great to each other and looking after each other. We welcome back Year 10 next week. Really excited about that, and I'll report on that this time next week. But until then, have a fantastic weekend. God bless. Lots of love. Take care. Bye-bye.